Well, I'm glad you mentioned 61 games still remaining this season. Can we take a look at the first 21 games that they've played so far this season? Just your overall assessment to this date of this Rangers team.
I look. You had to know that things weren't going to go as well this year as they did last year, right? You had to think that they would come back a little bit. They won 52 games last year, and you know, caught everybody by surprise with how quickly they got good. Now they had been building towards it for a while, but I think for them to get to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final was beyond where any of us expected them to go. Um, so would have to think that there would be some sort of a market correction on them. They would come back to the pack a little bit. It would not be as easy for them this year as it was last year, and that's what we've seen. Um, I still think they're a good team. I mean, Igor Shesterkin is still probably the best goalie in the league, or he's in the very very small group of elites. Adam Fox is still an elite defenseman. I mean, he won the Norris Trophy 2 years ago and deserved it, and was on the way to last season too. I mean, an injury sort of knocked him off track. At the time he got injured, just prior to the All-Star break, actually the night before Henrik Lundqvist night. He was leading all defensemen in the league in scoring at that time, and his production after that was not quite what it was before that. So, I was able to play through whatever it was. But anyway, the point being, he's still Adam Fox. And then Artemi Panarin's kind of struggling right now, just right at this minute. But he's Artemi Panarin. You don't worry about a guy like that. He started off hot, struggling right this minute as we speak. But you don't worry about him. So I think ultimately 10-7-4 is we probably expected them to be a little bit better than that. But again, I don't think they're in trouble to the point where anybody should be panicking. I think it's Mika Zibanejad needs to score at 5-on-5. That would be helpful. Panarin needs to get a goal at some point. That would be helpful. And there are things that Gallant can do in terms of mixing up the lines. And we talked about it already. I'd like to see Kakko and Lafreniere in the top six, and we'll see what happens if he does that. But I think as long as Igor's playing well and his game's gotten better over the last few starts, as we mentioned, I think they're okay.
And are they Stanley Cup contenders? Or if they're not, what do they got to do to become Stanley Cup contenders?
Are they Stanley? Well, see, now that's a tough question. That's a difficult question. As presently constructed, no, I don't believe they're Stanley Cup contenders. I always believe. Well, yes and no. Yeah, I mean, because if you have a goalie like Igor, you have a chance, right? So we'll say that, but I wouldn't put them among the favorites. No, and mostly it's because they have to get that top six right wing situation sorted out. They have to, if they can get that sorted out, whether it's by putting Kakko and Lafreniere up there or by trading for Patrick Kane or whoever, if they can get that sorted out and they can get two lines that are producing at 5-on-5, their top two lines, then yeah, okay, then you can put them in that conversation. But as of right now, they're not getting that. So no, I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender right now. And but they're not far away. I mean, you have the goalie, you have Fox, you do have Panarin and Zibanejad. And I think, Trouba's playing through some sort of an injury. I don't know exactly what, but so maybe he's not the same guy he was last year, but he's still Jacob Trouba. And I think that's, they have enough pieces where they should get in to the playoffs. But if I'm looking at, teams on the short list that can win it all, no, not at this time.